Hello everybody, welcome to the Steckline Report. A lot of people around the country are saying that there's all kinds of problems with this crop out there. The corn belt's too wet, it got planted too late, it did all this and all kinds of problems, and I keep telling everybody, hey, rain makes grain, so don't give up on that crop yet. And USDA didn't either. They came out with some shocking figures. Stand by, I want to talk about that in a minute.
Every father would like to have their son farm with them and grandson and continue to farm. It's kind of a legacy, I guess. And then my dad was a farmer, and then of course then I am and my son. So actually Jackson, would be the fifth generation from my grandfather. It's going to be key for us to have American Ag Credit. It's a long-term partnership with him is what it is.
Well, friends, USDA says we're going to grow corn averaging 168.8 bushels an acre, soybeans 46.9 bushels per acre, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that didn't want to believe that because the trade was guessing all of those figures to be down. The carryover was a lot higher than anybody thought it was going to be, and those of you who were paying attention to the markets the day this came out, you know what happened that day. It crashed straight down. Now it's come back a little bit, but everybody's still talking about whether they believe it or not. And I'm talking about everybody on the Board of Trade. In the coffee shops around the country, I think the farmers understand that they've got a pretty good kind of a crop out there most of this year. And there are some problem areas. There always is. But when you take a look at this crop as a whole, I'm going to tell you, and I don't like to agree with USDA very often, but I'm going to this time. I think they're right on it. And in fact, the thing that backs it up is that the scouts on the soybean field tours and the corn tours in the Midwest crop tour, they looked at field after field after field, and they're coming up with somewhere around the same kind of yields, 168 bushels for corn. 3-year average prior to this was 156, so it's an awful good crop, friends, no matter what you say. Now, there still could be some problems out there. Why is that? Because there's a rainy September and maybe a rainy October scheduled. And that's that El Nino that we've been talking a lot about. If you folks remember here on this broadcast, January, February, March, somewhere in there, the folks at the meteorology department came out and said that the El Nino was going to have a major effect in the Midwest with more rain this year. And I always take that with a grain of salt, and if I want to be honest about it, most of the time I don't believe them. That's just the way it is. But boy, were they right this year. I'm telling you, on the Ponderosa, south central Kansas, I've never seen so much rain in May, June, July, August. It's just phenomenal. And so, as I said here today, we got 2 inches last night. Any kind of crop grown in this part of the country is just phenomenal. If you got it planted anywhere near the right time, you've got a bumper crop. Now, in Nebraska, there's some problems with corn here and there, but all total, it looks like it's pretty good shape to me. Now, NOAA tells us that September's potential for rain up big time. They won't really say how crazy it could be, but they are saying that the El Nino is as strong, no it isn't, it's stronger than it's ever been. In other words, the water in the Pacific is warmer than it's been for a good long time, if not record warmth, which supposedly brings that rain to the Midwest. Now, what does that mean at harvest time? Disaster, if it's really this bad. We'll just have to wait and see, folks. And as we look at this old crop around the world, or excuse me, around the United States, listen to this. Corn is 69% very good to excellent. And soybeans, 63%. Spring wheat, 70%. And yes, we have word that France has got a great big crop coming in too, so we look around the world. If you're like me and a wheat producer, you got a little bit in the grain bin, you want to sell it at $6, it may be a long time before we see that. And doggone it, I had a chance to do that right around harvest time. But isn't that the way it goes? I sold most of it, just have a little left. Anyway, see you on the next Steckline Report.